April 10, Thursday. Oh my God. Can you imagine 1/3 April is gone? Under our belt, let's say, under our belt. Yeah. Here's the weather. There we go. Can you imagine? Our society is so technology oriented that it's like you're in the tower of a big airport or something, where I can dial in the weather and see what's going on. I have it set so I can get the future radar, they call it, which is the last 30 minutes of this strip that goes from 6:30 in the morning until 9:10, 6:45 to 9:15. That's you can see it on the bottom there. It's pretty cool. And then over in the very right side of your screen is an elapsed time 3 minutes and 54 seconds. The tenth of a second. There you can see I've taken that out of view. Do you really care, tenth of a second? So that way you just see seconds. And other than an internet scare that I had, Saturday and Sunday and half of Monday, I couldn't figure out, I could get my iPad on the internet, and I'd get my iPhone on the internet. I could get my Rodecaster Pro on the internet, my Rodecaster Duo, as they officially call it, which is the soundboard I have over here. Hey, close the door. Will you close the door? Yeah. My crowd outside the studio. Yeah. That's what I hear outside my studio. Ooh, ouch. Ouch. Just ruined that record, huh? Oh, God. Yeah. Going down. Some of the sounds you can do on this soundboard. No, we don't have an SOS.
Happens if I talk this way. It's hard to tell what happens.
Oh gosh, yeah.
How about this? Yeah. Oh my God! Oh lordy. Yeah.
I don't know. I have to stay away from these weird, yeah. Are we back to normal here? Yeah, we're back to normal. I go over a couple of slips and you get into this FX sound stuff. And it really gets interesting how they can alter your voice. So, testifying against a bad criminal and you want to have your face shielded and your voice protected, you could always
come over here and disguise your voice so that no one be able to tell who's speaking because your life was threatened or something like that. Yeah.
Okay, we've had enough of that, right? Yeah. Okay, whoops, too many. Some of the features of the Rodecaster Duo, which allows 2 microphones. I can Bluetooth my phone into a 4th channel. Yeah, I have that. Actually, I have my phone off right now. I guess I should turn it on. See if my phone is off. Let's see. Let me turn it back. There we go. Text messaging will still come through on my iPads. I'm surrounded here with old iPads, just so they're useful. I have an old iPad Pro, the 11-inch version. I have it set up in landscape mode. It's on a little tiny tripod, and it's sitting in the kitchen, serving as a TV, which I can turn on. Fox News, the morning show, Fox and Friends. Yeah. Hello, there's Jimmy. I got 3 things going here. Producers, you can get rid of the date and time. We know what day it is. So there we go. We got a elapsed time. Oh boy. And the radar. So on this iPad, see where my finger is pointing. You can see the elapsed time. Let's push this back a little bit, yeah. I think I'd rather have that. Get rid of this. Yeah, because we can see the radar right here in the background. That's good enough, right? And make that bigger. Make that whoa. I guess that's as big as I can get it. Right there. And of course I can make that. You have these little handles where you can adjust the so you can get 2 windows in one because of the operating system. And as I've told you, this is a Simulcast. This is a Simulcast, which we put on every morning. There's 3 of us operating this studio. Me, myself, and I. I am talking to you right now, and me is working the, adding and taking away all these, views that you see as we cycle through, all my displays. And so we're going to use this, and then we're going to add this one. We're going to switch cameras. We've done this before, right? Swap cameras. This is the lingo on Ecamm Live. ECAMM L-I-V-E, Ecamm Live, is a software routine that you can subscribe to. It's designed to work on iPads, MacBooks. The MacBook, the super fast actual computer, as opposed to the likes of this handy dandy iPad. I have some tape on here, like 3 layers of gaffer's tape right here. This is the tab, so when I close this up, the magnetic closure is so strong that I have a piece of tape on here. I can put can you see that? I can put my finger on it. Ooh, so that the bottom stays down when I lift up the top. Otherwise, it's a real stressful process. There we go. So this background I have on my iPad is an X-ray view of the electronics in the Apple A6 chip. I actually made that background quite a while ago because we're up to what, A16. I haven't gone in and updated that. I should put a little 1 in front of there, so it's A6. Then it'll be A17 and A20 and all that. And I haven't found anybody that has X-rayed the chip. The chip designs have gotten, unbelievable. They're like 2 and 3 nanometers thick. The entire electronics of your typical iPad. I have a piece of paper towel here. It's about this big, and it's situated in the middle of the iPad, like this way. Like the size of the 1 right here in April 10. And then on either side are a lithium-ion flat battery pack, lithium-ion flat battery pack, and then you got the electronics in the middle. So you have this little all the electronics, the main chip, which is the processor with cores and all that business. I can write a book, but I don't know what I am speaking of. I used to be, but it's gone into high speed. So unless you're, an electrical engineer keeping up with that stuff, it's hard to pronounce the words, much less know what the hell you're talking about. Anyway, the entire system, like the chip is over here, and the main processor. Then you got, a terabyte, 1,000 gigabytes. Can you imagine 1,000 gigabytes of memory? Another part of the chip, and then you have, of course, the cellular system, because this iPad, can connect to the cellular system. How do I know that? Well, we go to General, and then we hit About, and then, oh boy, me, myself, and I have to increase this to full size. There we go. Now you can see I have 100,000. Can you see that right in the middle? 100,031 photographs on this iPad. You take a picture with the iPhone or an iPad, you do a print screen or whatever, it ends up in the photo library, and and I'm up to 100,000 pictures, a little over. The AT&T is my network. I have 38 songs on here, apparently. You can see in the very top, the software version is 18.4. It's called iPad Pro 13-inch M4 chip. Yeah. And of course the model number is MVXW3LL. Now only the Apple people could come up with a model number like that. I mean, how about model number 307.1? No, it has to be MVXW3LL. So no one knows what the hell it is. And the serial number is alphanumeric KN9DN4V66V. All right. What's your serial number, sir? Well, you mean my serial letter or my serial number? And of course, you can touch it and copy it. And see, it says copy because that is that's a 10-character. So you can't say number anymore because it's got letters. So it's it doesn't have special characters, but anyway, some genius at Apple said, well, as time goes on, the serial numbers are going to grow and grow. And if we have 1 through 10, or 0, and A through Z, oh boy, in each position, we can have billions and billions of serial numbers, which isn't a bad idea because there are several billion iPads and iPhones out there. This iPad, as we can see, let's go down a little bit further. AT&T 63.0, which is, the network. Instead of just AT&T, it's AT&T 63.0. The cellular, there's my cellular. It actually has a phone number, but you can make a phone call on the iPad. It's speakerphone. It's hard to hold this up to your ear. But you can see it's 213-8930. You can actually call it. Every once in a while, this iPad rings. Do you want to accept the call? Hell no. And it's connected, see in the bottom there, to the Magic Keyboard. And that's, what this whole keyboard thing is all about. Let's get me back in there a little bit, So, anyway, I just wanted to show you that. The other thing is I have 1 tetrabyte of capacity, which you can't hardly see. I can't move the seam. This borderline right here, I cannot move that barrier. So it disappears. I can just go full screen, then you can see it anyway. It's 1 terabyte of storage, which is all solid state. There's no spinning little disks in here with heads that are sensitive. And I have 340 gigabytes remaining. So when they come up with the new iPads, if I'm ever disposed in getting another one, I have, the ones I have this is the one I'm moving my hands around right now. You can see on the left side of the screen is a relatively new device. It's got the M4 chip, right? And whatever that means. That means it's super fast, has all kinds of cores, and the way it communicates with the memory. I can sense the everything works faster. When you turn from landscape to portrait, the videos are real quick in reorienting themselves, whether they're still images or not. Yeah. There's no hour hand on this clock. What time is it? It's 8:46. Yeah. It's the 10th of April. We're sitting, just imagine we're sitting around having coffee with somebody. And we're chatting about all kinds of things. We can see the weather is overcast. This radar is showing you the directions of the winds. You can see some arrows. If we went full screen on that, which I had it on all morning, so we'll just do it right there. So you can see it's the peninsula of Florida, and the little blue dot right there is where I am on this map. The clouds are moving from north to south. I would say north from the 10-degree point, and moving south to about 195 degrees on the Richter scale. Yeah. Well, there's our leader. Trump declares war on the state climate laws. He says things to excite the media, and then they cover him. And if you wonder how come he ends up with so much airtime, it's because, as Jonathan Turley says, he hands the media, a can with a snake inside. And he shakes the can and he hands it to the media guy, and they run with it. Oh, yeah. And they can't wait to figure out how to get inside that can. And then when they do, there's a snake inside. And then they jump and they scream. And yeah, kind of amazing. He knows how to get airtime. Some of the population gets terrified with it, and most of the population says, that's just another Trumpism. Yeah. This microphone has this little wire. That's the first time I noticed that little wire. This big wire, that's the sound is coming out of the one. This is, one of those snakes that you can bend to support the microphone. This is like a rubber airbag, so that the microphone doesn't do that when you tap it. Yeah, that's why they call it a boom mic, because if you go like that, it goes boom. Anyway, but that's another little. That must be some kind of a. I don't know. That little. There's probably another little microphone chip that's stuck in underneath this pop filter, which I have that on this, which we can't actually see. Oops, let's see if I turn this thing this way. You see, this is a pop filter, which Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. It prevents, I want to see it. I don't mind me not being in the picture because it's not very interesting. I'm more interested in having the correct time up there in the corner. And can we get that straightened out a little bit? So, there we go. Talking to myself. Me, myself, and I, remember that? The three of us. Anyway, we do a reverse pinch. And we can zero in on Donald's hairdo. He's losing hair in the front of his scalp, so he has this bouffant thing that he folds over It probably goes around 3 times. And they spray it with something so that it stays in that position, because he doesn't like to show his bald forehead. And when you get, 79 years old, whatever, I think I'm a year older than he is. I just turned 80. The big 80. And we had a delightful birthday. Here's we're on the airplane. See, it says Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport. I forget whether, let's see, I think this is when we were flying up there. I'm sitting in the aisle seat. Daniel's sitting in the window seat. And Marilyn is sandwiched between. She's always nice and happy. Everybody's happy. Going up to see Robin, daughter Robin, who's celebrating because her son, I think, was born on March 27th or 9th. I'm sorry, I forget which. I'm March 20, and he's like he's 20-something, and he just turned 20. There's my Dieffenbachia, my variegated Dieffenbachia, and you can see the early leaves were variegated that way, and as time went on, you can see the new ones come out. Look at that. You can almost see through those. That's sitting in a corner of our living room. Look at that. Yeah, I know. It's healthy. You can tell by this. Those leaves that pop out, and you see how nice. Like this, you can see this stalk right here. It comes out, and then it starts to unravel, and it opens up. Very amazing. The cellular activity, and how fast the cells, split and create a leaf that has a thickness to it. There's a new stealth fighter jet. Look at the shape of that. Looks like a porpoise with wings. It can go, like Mach 2 or something, fast. Look at the way the windshield is. They make it stealth so that it has a coating on it of an anti-reflective. So when radar waves are out there in the atmosphere, when this plane enters the area where the radar signal is present, the radar band gets absorbed by the skin of the aircraft. So if you see something on the screen, it looks like it's about 13 inches big. Well, 13 inches could be a bird. It's not a jet with engines. I think it has 2 engines. Can't even tell where the input is to the engines. I think it's part of the wing. And there's the output. You can see. But part of the fuselage is covering up the output so that the extreme hot gases, air, atmosphere and spent number 2 jet fuel. Yeah. Wow. It took me a long time to figure out how a jet engine works. I finally figured it out about 5 years ago. Yeah, oh boy, it's amazing. Now there is one of my favorite dishes, Trattoria Romano in Boca Raton. I wonder if this dish is as good as it was 7 or 8 years ago when I had it there. Oh my God. I said, I don't want mussels. Could you add something else? Sir, how would you like if we gave you another lobster tail? I said, that would be magnificent. So that's why there's 2 of those. And look how beautiful white the meat is. And look at the size of the shrimp. Ooh, is that like unbelievable? I mean, it was like this big, you know. You talk about colossal shrimp, and it was so, you know, it was tender and beautifully cooked. There's some clams. I'm trying to zoom. There, look at that clam. It's smiling at you. And inside the clam is, you know, a piece of squid. That's squid. That round guy looks like a fat rubber band. Yeah, very tender, nice. In a nice broth, and underneath there is pasta. Oh, God. I've never had a better seafood dish than that. It's in a nice big bowl. It's a big bowl. It's a 10-inch bowl. So you want to get a takeout order of that, period. In a quart container. Can I have a quart of this to go? So when you get home, at midnight, you can have another dinner. This was so good. I just wanted to sit there and look at it for a while. Yeah. Schütz de Muur. Yeah, as they call it. Yeah, it's about a half a mile from where I'm sitting right now. There's our birthday boy on the right, and the birthday older guy on the very left. Yeah, yours truly, Marilyn, Robin, Daniel, and our 2 grandchildren, Hudson and Jack. And the mama's in the middle, our daughter. There's Marilyn. And there's Daniel at 6'4.5", maybe. We're having birthday lunch at this place. Yeah. We rode there in a limousine. We rode all around to 2 or 3 different places. We had cocktails at one place, we had lunch at another place, and then we had after lunch cocktails in a third place. It was cool that way. We wouldn't have to worry about, driving while intoxicated. I behaved myself, I swear. Yeah, this is, there's in the background, that's the roof of the limo. You got Robin and Jimmy, Marilyn. This picture has nothing to do with. This is the Prezzo's, a spectacular Italian fine dining. You can get a margarita pizza, or you can get, a $40 dinner item. This is actually before it opened, because if we zoom in, you see in the window, coming soon. What does that say? November 2017. November, looks like. Yeah, coming soon. So this is a while ago. And the reason why this picture is here is I took a picture of the restaurant for Burt Rappaport. It's a great picture of the top of the building with the sign there. But over on the very left side of this, there was a car. And there's a software routine built into the operating system of your iPad where you can erase things. Like there was a car blocking part of the front of this door, and it was right there where those potted plants are. There was a car there. And I wanted to see if I could actually remove the car and have it so that I wouldn't disturb the picture. And the car's gone. See what those two potted plants were? There was a car blocking one of those potted plants. And the car gone. So that's why the picture is there. Even though it's a picture that I took, did this, I guess yesterday. I also deepened the blue sky on this shot. This is when, remember when the Boeing company sent up to the space station their capsule, which couldn't quite dock. It was a couple of times it attempted to dock, and it missed because the little jets, either pilot didn't know how to fly very well, or there was malfunctioning little, which orients the space capsule so that you could dock to the docking port, which is the opening of like a trash can lid. Yeah, that's the way it was, and that's the way it actually looked. The sky was brilliant blue, and this sky looks white. So I said, that's not the way it looked. It looked like that. So I went to Photoshop Essentials and went to the haze tool and removed some haze. There's the haze, no haze. So when you do that, it tends to deepen up the blue sky. Yes, this is shaking hands with Trump. That's where you can see, and Trump is holding on tight. And I don't know what's going on with the tying of his laces. The laces are really long on those shoes, huh? What do you think? Trump has this, looks like wingtip. Always looks perfectly dressed for your basic billionaire. And Mrs. Billionaire is stepped aside a little bit while these two are looking at something, and Macron is telling the president a secret. And she's an expert in lip reading, so she, I don't know. Anyway, she's been around the media long enough where when you got the two of them in a pose like that, you just step back and let the cameraman capture the pose. I'm looking through. Here's my supply of Tito's in 1 liter bottles. Just for guests, though. I have a 20-ounce mug right here, which I have my morning coffee in, which I made at 7:30 this morning. And an hour and a half later, comes out at about 194 degrees. Of course, I test it with my trusty thermometer. And I'm taking, there we go, it's 126 degrees inside my mug instead of 140. You know, a nice toasty warm cup of coffee is about 145 degrees. Tastes like warmed over soup. Yeah. This thing has a, I don't know if you can see inside. Let's turn up the lights a little bit. Yeah, there's a deep parabolic. There we go. It's right all the way in the middle there. You know, about this deep inside this gun thing. It's just, yeah, it might even be this deep where my finger is. There's a sensor which reads the amount of infrared that is being emitted by any surface. For example, I can in the MacBook Pro, the Air version, which is basically a computer that's embedded in this machined piece of aluminum. You know, where you have a keyboard, you know, flush, a beautiful, you know, keyboard. And anyway, they attach the chips using a silicone based adhesive. So when I run my fingers along the top here, you know, it starts out at like 85 degrees and then it builds up to like 95 degrees and then goes back to 85. So I just by feeling the temperature with my finger as I go across this way, the chipset, the processor, which holds billions of transistors in this 3-micron inch thick chip, is right about in here. And then the heat dissipates all through, you know. So if I go right here, it's probably 95 degrees. 98.6. And if I slide this down, it goes down to like 90, 88, 81. That's interesting. It's 86 here, and down here it's 84. Let's start up here. The temperature is 92, 94, 93, and 92. So it starts up here at 94 and ends up down here about 91. The maximum temperature you can see in blue down there is 94.8. The big numbers in white is the current temperature. There we go. And since I didn't move, the current temperature is the same as the max. But now if I point it across the room and aim it at that air conditioning duct, the air's coming out of there at 65.1. Temperature inside here, which can we see? No, it's out of view. It's 70.7 in here, which is nice temperature. It's usually 68 degrees in here. I think I changed the setting so it's like set at 72. Yeah. Anyway, that's these things used to be thousands of dollars. Now, the technology is a couple years old, and you can buy these brand new in a box at Amazon.com for like $19.95. Unbelievable. So I have one in the kitchen, and I have one in my little studio here. Yeah, the screen temperature on the bed is there are no hot spots. The chipset's right in the middle here. You see it says 93, and I come over this way, and it goes down to 91. So the maximum temperature was 93.9, which you can see. And the last reading I got was 91.2. iPhone, 76. It's kind of like on standby. Yeah. There we go. I got two ice makers, and one of them died. I'm replacing it today. Yeah. Courtesy of Home Depot Magic Chef countertop ice maker. Let's do a speed test. It says in green, you are connected to the internet. Well, thank God. I couldn't get my MacBooks connected to the internet for a couple of days. I scratching my head. Oh, what am I going to do? Because this Ecamm Live is on my MacBook computer, not the iPad. They don't make the software to work on an iPad. Anyway, there you go. There's the results. 42 megabits per second upload speed and 159 megabits per second download, which is terrible. So they want me to give it a rating of 1 to 10. I'll give it a 3 because this download speed should be like 650 megabits per second, and it's 25% of that. But the upload speed is a decent number. It should be like 60, and it's 42. I need, according to my Ecamm Live meter, when you have 3 social networks covering this broadcast simultaneously, this is live, Ecamm Live, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Twitter Live. The handle is the @ FAU, the number 4U, FAU4U. How cute is that? I've been on the faculty there a little over 20 years. FAU has nothing to do with this broadcast, economically or psychologically, other than the fact that one of its adjunct faculty members is sitting here talking to you today. I'm quite proud to have been lucky enough to join the College of Science as an adjunct faculty member, having taught a bunch of people on principles of digital photography. Yep. Anyway, did my speed test. It's like taking your vitamins. And let's see, can you see this? You see it like pulsing? The ring, yeah. Very cute. Yeah. They have a video test. So it has that kind of display, which I guess that's, optical cables spinning around in circles. There we go. Whoop. It's the 4K test. At the very bottom it tells you. And it shows you it's the maximum resolution of 2,160 pixels, 4K, is good for large phones, large tablets, large computers, and large TVs. Well, thank you. Maximum resolution 21.6. You can see it up on the top there. That's the number of pixels going across the screen. So it's like 1080 this way and 2160 that way. You multiply it out, it's like 3 million pixels at 60 frames a second. The ping is 709 milliseconds, which that's terrible. Let's run the regular internet speed test. There you go. 105, 133 megabits per second. This is the download speed. And the upload speed is, averaging about 39, 38, 38.6. I need 23 megabits per second up, and I got 38. So I'll give that 4 stars on the upload speed. Yep. What solved my problem is this right here, the VPN. I didn't have the VPN on. I have it. I think it's automatically loading now. And the virtual private network, which is what VPN stands for. It's a virtual network because it's a network that's hanging out there in cyberspace. And the MAC address, the VPN IP, is 102.129.152.224. Well, that keeps changing periodically. That's why they call it a virtual private network, as opposed to a fixed IP address. That is different on each one of these devices, even though they're all coming through the same router. CyberGhost, they call it. And if you see up on the top of the screen, there's the president of the university up there. Took a picture of him on field because he was receiving $1 million check. I can touch on that picture. There you go. See, $1 million check. It's amazing when you take a picture, you don't forget. This is October 2015. She was donating $1 million. Eleanor R. Baldwin. There she is. It looks like she's got that's probably a watch in platinum. She's been around a while, and she keeps giving money to FAU, the Baldwin Family Foundation. a building named after her. Yeah, see Eleanor. Right, yeah, Eleanor R. Baldwin History and Tradition Hall. That's the name of the building. So she's donating apparently $1 million to help build that building. I teach in building 55, I think it is, in the College of Science. Can you imagine? Building number 55. It's behind building 54. Yeah. Matter of fact, you walk through 54 to get to 55, and you go up 3 stories in an elevator. Make 2 lefts, walk all the way down the hallway, make a right, and my classroom's on the left side. 2 lefts on the right, and I'm on the left side. Yeah. So these are some FAU pictures, which I can just page through here. Hello. This is like 30 minutes, 20 minutes before the football game. You can see in the very top, let's see if I lift up on the picture, October 10th, 2015 at 3:32 p.m. Yeah. The picture was taken with a EOS Rebel T4i. It's a JPEG image. It's a 9 megapixel image. 3,700 pixels by 2,400 pixels. You multiply one by the other and you get 9 million pixels, which gives you plenty of room to reverse pinch and, see name tags, which there aren't any. He's got a button on. Beat Rice. So apparently Rice, we're playing Rice at that time. There's Marilyn with her camera. Special armband that allows you into game number 3. This is, about 10 years ago, can you imagine? This is a Fox News reporter lady. She's got her clipboard with, see, look at that. FAU storylines. You got one. So you can actually see some of her notes. Can you imagine? FAU's this bye week. How do I handle the bye week? So these are her notes on what to say when she's on air. This is a microphone that emits a high frequency, a VHF frequency, which the cameraman picks up, so you don't have a wire. Fox Sports. This looking lady, I think I talked to her. She's Canadian. She's tall, like 6 feet tall. Or 5'11" or 10 or something. Marilyn with an Apple Watch with the red band and her red shirt. And a bunch of girls that are singing. You see the microphones are up there. FAU cheerleaders. This is big TV camera with stuff on it so it doesn't get rained on. Oh, there's Jimmy with my red sunglass frames. There's Happy Marilyn. There's Happy Jimmy. We got our FAU straw hats on. That's my lens with the two yellows on it. They're rubber rings. I can feel that when I'm looking through the viewfinder, and that zooms my zoom lens. Yep, this is, I think, 64 minutes, 56 seconds. It's an hour before game time, I guess, or, not too sure what that means. Must be, maybe it's after the game. It looks like I have a can there. I'm not 1 pint of lager. America's oldest brewery. Family operated. It's probably an empty can because I don't drink beer that much. And if I do, it's got to be really cold. Look at this. Oh yeah, Tamron lens. And it's 1/1000th of a second. F11. See all the characteristics of the image. It's captured October 10th at exactly 2:47 p.m. How cool is that? That's an FAU receiver trying to get to that ball. He's got his arms extended, and I caught the ball, and that's a signed ball. This is the daughter of the president, and this is like, one of the FAU people, 2 FAU people beat Rice, and this guy got the ball for some reason. Student athlete, probably 4.0 grade average. I'm making that up. I don't know. That's Maryland. I believe this is all pre-game stuff. Because after the game, oh my God, everyone's gone. And there's one sports shot right there at 2:47 p.m. And I cannot tell you whether that ball was caught or not, but boy, he certainly is in a perfect position to catch that ball. That's one thing about these Canon digital cameras. You can get you take enough shots, there's got to be a good one somewhere, right? That's my theory. Take a lot of shots. You can't take that many shots on your standard film camera. My God, you have to develop all those negatives and print them all. All right, let's go to Flipboard. We're on Flipboard, and this is a display. That's our press secretary. They don't like it. She like talks right through the press. Apple Watch saves another life. It helped me, I can tell you, because my watch said, oh my God, your heart is beating at 135 beats per minute, and you're sitting on a couch. What's wrong with this picture? I go. I said, Marilyn, I tapped on the sliding glass door. She's outside on the patio talking to her sister. And I said, Marilyn, we're going to the hospital right now. And she calmly just got off the phone and got some stuff. I said, get some stuff because we're going to be there a while. And on the way to the car, she said, well, do you want me to call now? I said, no, we're not going to wait 20 minutes for the EMT to get here. Just you drive, I'll be the passenger, and go through the red lights. She stopped at a red light. I said, Marilyn, you're killing me. Go through the red light. There's no cars in any direction. Just go through. If a policeman comes out of the woods, he can give you a ticket at the emergency room entrance. I mean, I had to talk her into going through the red light. God. Anyway, I got there. I eventually, after 6 days of testing and blood this and that, and echo this, and anyway, turned out that they had to take me to the Delray Medical Center to find a surgeon that was capable of doing the procedure that my cardiologist outlined as the best path, the most survivable operation. I said, Dr. Ordonez, that sounds like the best path to me. The one that's most survivable. He said, well, what they're planning on doing at the hospital that we're at, you will likely not survive that operation. I said, ooh. And I learned like a year ago, which is 6 years after surgery. He said, oh, by the way, remember when I told you you would probably not survive the operation that they want to do? Because they did the same exact operation on one of my patients 2 days ago, and she died. I said, oh, I'm glad you didn't tell me that. He said, well, that's why you went to the Delray Medical Center, because I found a surgeon that will do what should be done. And for some reason or other, the head of cardiology at the hospital we're at wants to do something that is so high risk, you probably will not survive it. Anyway, it's 9:33 a.m. The stock market opened 5 minutes ago, and it's down 676 points. Well, you know, it's got to be uppy, downy. You know, look, there's our leader holding the reciprocal tariff chart. Probably China is fighting us, and just about every other country wants to make a deal. Well, let's make a deal. It's got to be better than where we're at, you know? I mean, Vietnam, of all places, has a 90% tariff. They come into our markets, no problem, no charge. We try to get in their market, their people are good manufacturers that want to make stuff and export it to Vietnam. The import tax is 90%. You got $1 million worth of stuff, they charge you $900,000 to bring in $1 million worth of stuff. $10 million, it's a $9 million upcharge on a $10 million shipment. What do you? That pretty much shuts down imports from the United States. And that's why we have literally 90,000 empty factory buildings, because we're not making anything anymore. They're outsourcing it to China or whomever. It's being outsourced. You know, a lot of the customer service departments, for example, they have their own building a floor full of people that answer calls. You got all these people sitting around with headphones on, like I'm sitting here right now. I got a screen in front of me and the phone calls keep coming and you answer the calls. And they compare, the customer support department that has, 235 people and a couple of managers and a senior manager. What's the cost of that? Well, it's costing about $1.3 million. So if you go to Mumbai and hire this Indonesian firm, how much would they charge? $675,000. And what are we paying right now with all these people and yourself? $1,500,000. So it's like less than half. Let's outsource it. That's the end of that. 235 people either have to get, you're basically, got 2 weeks to find another department, or you're gone. That's happening all around the country. Is they're outsourcing to these big call centers, in Indonesia, the whole China Sea. I don't think China's doing anything like that. But, you go to India, they're doing it. That's why you always have these accents. Because it's their second language. English is their second language. Second or third language. They speak their native language and English. Trump just signed an executive order on water pressure and water flow. I think he means water flow. The pressure's there, but they have these little washers that are inside the devices that screw on the plumbing to cut the flow down to like 3 gallons a minute instead of 10 gallons a minute, which you prefer. When you're taking a shower or you're flushing your toilet or whatever, they have these flow restrictors, they call them, to cut the flow down. You may have unbelievable pressure, but they have these little washers in there that has an opening of about, 3/16 of an inch. That's a little bit of a guess, but it's not a big opening. You might have, a 3/8 inch pipe, but it only has a 3/16 inch opening in the flow restrictor. So even though you might have 50 pounds per square inch pressure in your public water utility, and that's not a bad estimate, 30, 40, 50 PSI, water pressure, pounds per square inch water pressure. So the pressure's there, but they got flow restrictors in all your shower heads and your faucets, and I'm so flow restricted in my kitchen, I barely get any cold water. I can get hot water on full blast, which makes no sense, right? Because that's would be burning up the most energy, is because this water comes through that hot water heater. The hot water is tapped off the top, and it comes in cold on the bottom. Anyway, so Trump basically put a little 90-day halt on the tariff situation because, you had upwards of 80 countries going to meet with the president. and they all want a private meeting. Well, if you met 6 a day, it would take a couple of months to meet everybody. Because he's got to conduct other business too, so maybe you can meet 4 a day. 10 days is 40. 20 days is 80. That's every day. So weekdays only, it's 40 days of 5-day weeks. It's, So they put a halt on it for 90 days. Rather than 11.3 weeks now. Just make it 90 days. That's 3 months. And that way I will have time to meet everybody and make a deal. And the best deal is no deal. In other words, no tariff on either side. Free open trading between the two countries. The plane lands, they unload the cargo, and that's it. No one has to check on the velocity of the order itself. We're having our cup of coffee here at our favorite coffee place. Getting yippee. In other words, the countries and their representatives they're panicking because, they can't, all of a sudden we're charging, the country 35% tax on everything that comes in. Or 40-50%. Where heretofore it's been 0. Now the U.S. woke up. We're charging them, 25%. So you got $10 million worth of stuff coming in, through the airport, for example, and all of a sudden someone's got to write a check for $2.5 million, which then gives. Going the other way, no tariff. Trump says that's not fair. Why 300 companies? Use this startup AI to slash costs. Just flip right here and find out what the heck's that all about. And one thing about Flipboard is when you flip it, then you got to hunt through the articles. But there are all kinds of articles that you're interested in reading about. Whistleblower tells senator that Meta undermined U.S. security interests. Ooh, that sounds too juicy to be true. Apparently, Cybertruck insurance is very high, according to that article right there, which I'll look at another time. Christiane Hack's boyfriend gropes her from behind in her tiny bikini during a getaway. probably got his hand right on her butt, and he's squeezing it while they're on air. Yeah. Oh boy. Jeez. We call it a squeeze. The media calls it a grope. She looks like she's got a nice smile on her face. Yeah. Do we have a rear view? You see his shoulders down? Oh yeah, he's got his hand right on her. Now what's going on? Yeah. The headlines are usually sometimes more exciting than the story. You get in there and you try to find, a part of the story that has anything to do with the headline, and you can't find it. Yeah, it's according to news reports, they are rounding up these illegals, and they're filling up the Guantanamo or wherever, where they stage these people by country, and they don't have one plane with 5 different stops. They're filling up a plane that's going back to Nicaragua. California has 13,000 illegal aliens that were released into the population. How nice is that? Oh yeah. The illegal aliens have better they're being treated better than the citizens are. What kind of nuts is it? That's crazy. Anyway, I'm paging through. Remember, this is Flipboard, because you flip the pages. Whoops, see how I'm turning the page? And how thick is the page? It's digitally 0. There is no thickness. We go from front to back. There we go. And it makes it look like you're actually flipping a magazine. Very cool. That's a digital algorithm there. There's the upside and here's the underside. .26 a.m. I think it's time for I have to check with Daniel to see if we're having. He was talking about having lunch at somewhere at Houston's today. Do I want to do that? Right now, I think I want to cancel that plan. I think I just hang around here and have some. We'll see. All right, folks. All right, what's going on here? Elizabeth Hurley. Optimus. Tesla Optimus. Tesla's got a robot on their minds. Paging through mine. Remember Flipboard. In this hand, you pick what sources like New York Times, Palm Beach Post, Miami Herald, Sports Illustrated, all your news sources. And then in this hand, you pick what kind of stories you want to read about. Political stories, sports stories, economic stories, golf, and they take that information and they create this flipboard that you get all day long, all night long. Here's something from Flying Magazine. You can book flights to Europe for less than $150. You'll be on this jet, maybe. Wow. The play jet. You flip it over and then you hunt through and look for this article that has something to do with $150 flights. There it is right there. Can you book flights to Europe for $150? What to know? So here's the article. Published April 10th. That's today. Flying over Iceland. That's what that picture is. Let's save that one. Save the photos. See, all I have to do is touch the photo and it expands to, because here it's been trimmed to this article. And then I can save it to photos. I can share it, with some other media, like Messenger. Alright, so what does it say? You can fly to Keflavik International Airport for $99. New York, Boston, $99 flight. Why not? I get chilly just thinking about it. Yeah. Alright, sports fans. It's 9:55. It's 1 hour and 31 minutes. And I think I'm going to take a pause here and have a late breakfast. And I think I'm going to cancel lunch today. I don't feel like going out today. I feel a little... It's 70 degrees here in the studio. It's 72 degrees outside. That's close. And I'm going to go get out of this cold studio and go have something warm. My coffee is not hot enough. Pour that out and get another one. And I wish you have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow morning at about 8:15. How about that? 8:15. That's a good time. So I wish you all a great day. Bye-bye.